Can we get a quick palate cleanser for some
So what?
wholesome TikTok content? Sure, but no. Speaking of TikTok, there was one former Ethan Klein foot soldier, rehabilitated Ethan
This
Klein foot
message and
soldier that I want to elevate because I saw her take and I thought it was pretty good and I wanted to show it to you.
video is for Ethan Klein specific. My name is Kara. I'm a Fallen Age 3 fan, as you would call it. I used to consume your content daily. You were one of my favorite content creators, and from my earliest, literally.
What is this? Would you mind clarifying your perspective? In my opinion, certainly the settlers literally living on the land, living Palestinians will have to be moved, if only elsewhere in a free Palestine. Or do you believe in some land attribution system for the right of return? I believe in some land attribution system and reparations alongside the right of return for all Palestinians. Yes, that is what I believe. I think that I don't know exactly what it would look like legally speaking in terms of like most likely placing a timeline on.
Hasan is hot. However,
oh, I saw this one too. Yeah, holy, this one has 102,000 likes. Jeez, Lord mercy.
after watching that 5-hour debate, I still stand on that. I just am going to be honest with you. I hate the sound of men's voices, especially when they think that they're right about something. The both of them. That's not like a personal, opinion either. But that debate was crazy because 1, racism, blatant racism. 2, delusion, complete and utter delusion. And then 3, it ended on a very nice note because everybody loves Kaya, but racism. I'm sorry, the way that Ethan was saying the Arabs sounded kind of like the way that like elderly white people say, the blacks. It's a very specific inflection. You know what I mean? It had a lot of weight, and it was crazy that Ethan couldn't comprehend the fact that when Hasan kept saying, yeah, bro, we're talking about Palestine. We're not talking about the other countries that like, because the whole point, I'm gonna make this fast, but the whole point of that entire misunderstanding was the fact that, Ethan was talking about the events prior to Israel being fully founded and like established, and he was talking about the events that led the Jewish people to come to Israel, and Hasan was talking about the events post that, which is, in order for Israel to be created, they needed a space. What space did they pick? Palestine space, aka what did they do, the new settlers, what did they do to the Palestinian people in order to settle there? So like that entire debate was very embarrassing because I'm telling you, Ethan repeatedly saying the Arabs, and like, wow. And then on top of that, the fact that he was trying to push the idea that every single Arab country tried to dispel the Jewish people and didn't try to allow them back, crazy. And since we're talking about a state of delusional, Ethan, delusional, because what do you mean you think that you dog walk Sam Cedar? Were we not watching? I guess you were participating, but I watched it. I watched the entire thing. You did not dog walk him. He mollywopped you. He mollywopped the
that was pretty crazy, but also the dynamic was very different in that because he couldn't like keep hitting him with like ridiculous drama slop about me because it's like, why would you do that? And he also is like a figure that he had presented as like a respectable figure from the start, which is why he couldn't just like turn on him in that immediate moment, because he genuinely thought that he could find agreements with him by making those same concessions that he made with me. And even then, Sam was like pretty kind to him.
Fuck out of you. He dog walked you. He told you, why do you keep talking about Hasan? And then when you finally get the chance to talk to Hasan, you keep talking about everybody else. And the thing is, I know that you would love it if you could get iDubbbz onto your little podcast to yell at him, but iDubbbz would never give you the satisfaction because. Are
you actually worried about going to jail, or is this a meme? I mean, it's like it's a light meme. It's half meme, half like, oh, nobody knows. Yeah, Ethan would bring up a gotcha against you and then say he doesn't care about it 5 minutes later. Yeah, when it's not that he wouldn't care about it. It's that as soon as he realized that it was wrong, he would be like, okay, well, this doesn't matter. It's boring.
Hello, you yelling at iDubbbz to try to get him to do shit for you was a whole reason why iDubbbz did this, because you were running your mouth and you called him spineless. That's weird as shit. And then when he correctly pointed out the fact that, like, hey, you know, we have a conflict of interest because, you know, you're Jewish, your wife is Israeli, my wife, she's half Lebanese, you know, are you politically aware enough of what's going on in that situation as to why we are not publicly defending you? So, like, the other thing that I thought was embarrassing and so delusional was there came a point where
Hasan, Abi, I have watched you for 6 years and have learned little to no new information during this whole time. Following since 2025, subscribe for 3 months. I have watched you for 6 years and I have learned nothing. If anything, I have unlearned some shit. I've learned less. I've forgotten things. Look at what your anti-Semitism is making Trump do. Rebuild and open Alcatraz. For too long, America's been plagued by vicious, violent, and repeating criminal offenders. Some of them even have the audacity to say mean things about Israel. We will put you in the jail. We will put you in the island jail. And I'm calling for sharks. I'm calling for more sharks around Alcatraz so nobody can actually run away by swimming. No more swimming away from Alcatraz. Many people say no one has ever escaped Alcatraz. I would have been able to escape it. If I was in Alcatraz, I would have ran away. I would have swam away from the sharks, and then I would have gotten on a boat, but not if the boat has an electric motor, because everybody knows between the boat, God forbid it sinks, between the boat and getting electrocuted or the sharks, I'm not so certain I would take the boat. I would probably take the shark, which is my biggest enemy. I would take the shark. Only if the shark is not electric. If the shark was electric, then I don't know. Maybe I would take the boat. I would take the boat. I would die with the electricity zapping me. The battery. Everything's computer.
You know, Ethan thought that the conversation was going to come to a close. He thought he was going to get like the final say. So he started doing that little broadcaster voice. And I'm not going to hold you. When he kept trying to repeat this point of like, I watch my criticism and you don't because you're a coward.
Oh, yeah, that was so lame.
And then the cringiest part of this entire debacle comes.
Dude, gassing people up for watching a YouTube video is so funny to me because like it's the same principle behind like people maintaining this position that like Ben Shapiro is actually a macho man. Because they are like Ben Shapiro, like a lot of Ben Shapiro fans are nerdy little just like him. So they have to, in their minds, they have to be like, no, he is masculine because he's saying those things because I am just like him. And it reminds me of that. There's a parallel there because like in the minds of a lot of these like YouTube slop tubers, it's like, what a brave and courageous act to watch a YouTube video that rehashes all of the same out of context clips that I have literally addressed a million times over. I'm actually legitimately scared of watching it, except I'm not scared of actually debating the person. Meanwhile, at the same time, I'm getting beamed. I'm getting beamed from Fox News at a time when they're literally packing up pro-Palestinian student activists and shit. Like, yeah, oh my God. I was so terrified. Watch the vid that you debunked many points on and he conceded to. Yeah. I mean, I will, by the way. I'm going to watch it because I feel like a lot of people, I'm going to watch it because I'm going to show the world that I'm not afraid. That I'm not afraid, okay? I'm not afraid. I'm terrified. I'm petrified. I'm pissing and in my diapers. But I'm going to watch it to fundraise. I'm going to watch it to fundraise for the charity of iDubbbz's choosing, considering all of the relentless attacks that Ethan has engaged in for the Creator Clash 3, which is supposed to be a charity event. I am going to use this community to fundraise for the personal charity that they had chosen for Creator Clash while watching it, and that is going to most likely happen on Tuesday. I just peed too. Yeah, we both peed. We peed. Have you considered that this is you? No, I'm getting destroyed. I'm getting destroyed. Oh no. Alcatraz.
When Ethan goes, and I watch my criticism because I'm a legend. I would say things to you that would get me banned on the internet. My teeth are itching. And like girly pop. And what's crazy is the debate went on for another 45 minutes because they don't know how to stop arguing. And, you know, Hasan, props to you because it took Hasan like 2.5 hours to finally swing a personal jab. Me, within the first second of Ethan calling me a liar, Ethan called Hasan a liar like over 100 times. Someone do an official counter, please. Count how many times you called him a liar. It was crazy. It was crazy. Me personally, within the first 1, maybe 2 times if you call me a liar, I'm coming for you. I am coming for you. So like, you know, good on Hasan. You're better than me. If you debate him again, Christ. Oh, I feel my brain literally pulsating. God, that was literally a waste of 5 hours of my time.
Yeah. Also, call me a liar on the heels of like admitting to lying and smearing me multiple times. And also after, you know, lying and smearing me for 15 months, almost not 15 months, but like what, 5-6 months on the 16th month of a genocide that I was actively focusing on covering, that he wanted to that he wanted to spend every waking moment on me over and then trying to actively deplatform me over. Ethan was scaring the normies for sure. Text exchange with my cousin. I don't know why this made me so sad. Also, I know I need to explain the situation to her. Super random, but you are a fan of Ethan Klein, right? I watched him and Trisha Paytas podcast. Yes. Is he okay mentally? Lamau, I'm asking as if you know personally. Haha, yeah. How do you know about that? Because I watched a clip of him absolutely crashing out, having a debate with that Hasan guy. That's wild. Do you not follow him anymore? No, I do. I think it's wild. I think you saw a clip. To be honest, it's getting big. To be honest, I love him. I think he's right to be so upset. I don't know. He seemed pretty childish and horrible. Even his argument has any validity. He seemed like so out of line. No, not out of line, but it was just like, yikes, bro. I'm just curious what he was even arguing at some points. I'll respond when I can with his fam soon. No worries, lol. Like, it's crazy. 133 likes. What? Oh, 1,000 likes. Yeah, I reposted this one.
What? You don't know what
These are the clips normies see. The comments show your reception on TikTok is overwhelmingly positive.
Talking about?
What is? Yeah. I got a free Rolex hat from a friend of mine. I still wear it every now and then.
Yeah, and you're so, oh wow, who knew?
What? Destiny?
What?
Ethan, I don't think
Hasan?
I didn't bring up Destiny. You did.
By your authority, I will decide who's hallucinating. Hasan. Want to do propaganda.
Ethan, this is why this is why I didn't really respond. This is why I didn't really respond when he did this stuff, because I was like, I'll just let this sit on his own, because this is so ridiculous. Like how the dude, I'm not gonna lie to you, like the sex pestiny orbiters that instantly tried to brigade every place that they could on Reddit, being like, dude, Hasan got dog walked by a 40-year-old man who was doing all of this is like, you have to be so unimaginably out of whack with reality to look at this situation on aesthetic grounds, look at the situation on like what I was trying to argue versus what he was trying to argue, and look at the many different instances where he just basically conceded to every single thing that I was saying, and still be like, on the talking points, he did definitely great. And he also looked so restrained. He was clearly trying to bait you into reacting angry so he can accuse you of being a bully and a toxic anti-Semite. Yeah, I mean, he did that anyway.
Remember?
Ethan.
Hasan, please, calm down. You're getting worked up.
I don't know why you're behaving in such a childish manner. Ethan, I don't think you want to go down this route.
Really? Which ones?
The book that I'm referencing is from the Iron Wall.
All right, listen, it's 5 o'clock. Like I said, I have a family to go to. I have 3 kids and a wife, and I know that you have a cool-ass race car bed to sleep in, and I hope you enjoy that.
Okay, man. Thank you. Have a good one. I hope this was productive. Dan, he needs you more than you need him. Stop babying this man, please. He needs you more than you need him. Stop babying him.
Well, I know that's true, but I don't baby him.
That was a lie. Come on. Okay. That was so crazy. It was really sad to watch his behavior. He seemed very manic. I know. Aren't those childish things he's doing debate tactics? What? To a tactic to look worse? Like, I don't understand. Like, having some composure, I think, is probably better, right? Okay, this was the one I was going to show you. And then this was the other one.
Literally memories, like years. It was years of just consuming your content. I've purchased from Teddy Fresh. I loved the whole team. It just felt like a community. I was a lot younger then. I'm old as now. But what shifted for me did occur post October 7. This idea, and it was talked about in this debate, that Hasan has basically facilitated a space that he does not control or moderate when it comes to hate that goes Ethan's way, first of all, is a sentence that we could say in the inverse, but maybe more prominently and importantly. I wanted to put a face to somebody who has a life and isn't doing that. There is nothing that Hasan Piker could ever say to make me become a vitriolic bully jerk on like Reddit. I agree with Hasan's political commentary. I started watching him with his input on the US election, just like all of the other things that I was following and listening to at the time. Okay, it was totally in line with what I started to consume. And
Chat, I know Asmin's trying to get me banned. After this, I'll talk about it.
quite frankly, the way that Ethan started to behave and the things that he started to say post October 7th in a complete silo, unrelated to anything else,
I'm gonna pee.
Gave me pause. And I am the type of person who thinks very critically about the creators that I consume content from, who I elevate, and who I just take at face value. When I listen to Hasan Piker, I don't always agree. I don't always agree with his political opinion and take, but I do think that he provides enough information. He fully is like, if he doesn't know about something, he will speak to that. He'll say like, I don't know enough to speak about this, and he'll cut it. He'll move on. I think that he provides sources. I think he provides biased opinions that I also agree with, and unbiased opinions, again, that are educational. And I value that a lot. Like, I just value that. Ethan, you have spent the past 14 to 16 months on a hate train, oftentimes attacking creators that are much smaller than you. And that has been your entire MO. You donated one time to the Palestinian cause, okay? And ever since then, you've literally spent all of your time crashing out and attacking smaller creators who are actually giving visibility to this because they're doing things that you disagree with, and you're taking things out of context. You're hyper-focusing on the wrong things, and it's a little bit so low level. What I really disagree with, and I'm disappointed in you with, is this inability to have any self-reflection. I am 33, I'm turning 34 years old, okay? Like I said, I don't give a f***. This is so granular, it's insane. Something as an adult that has been a journey for me to understand has been how to take accountability and have self-reflection. It's not always easy to look at yourself. It's not always easy to be like, I f***ed up here and here. It's harder to also admit when you get shit wrong, or when you overreact, or when you let people down, or when you face that maybe for 1 second, the reality that you're living in, perhaps, and this might make you uncomfortable, is one that you have curated over X amount of time. It is difficult to face that, and it is much easier to blame. It's difficult to watch you like this. It's difficult when I'm scrolling on the internet, just on my TikTok, and I see people talking about how you're addicted to coke, how, you know, we're noticing things in you like your exaggerated tics, and it just feels like you're not settled. I don't look at you and see peace. I look at you and I see that you're suffering, and it's like a mental war. And again, this is like some weird parasocial because I don't know you and you don't know me. I appreciate anxiety, I appreciate depression, I appreciate what you go through, and I appreciate your lived experience despite how you probably see Hasan's audience, which I think I would be classed under. But at the end of the day, your inability to reflect on yourself, your inability to understand that maybe you're wrong. Maybe you have approached some of these things incorrectly. Maybe your own lived experience is...
I think it's ironic because, like, his capacity to self-reflect in the past, regardless of what people say, they're like, oh, he always harasses people. This is his content in perpetuity, all this. I think in spite of all of that, like, his capacity to reflect throughout that process was what made him so interesting to watch for his audience, and grew his audience in general.
A frame and a lens at which you are approaching everything first from, and it's an incredible ego that has created a blind for you. And there's things happening in those blind spots, babe. And I just like this idea that Hasan has this audience that he has like militarized against you. is egregious. I wanted to put a face to somebody who is an intelligent, educated, passionate person who thinks for themselves. Okay, that's it. There is nothing that Hasan Piker could ever say to make me hate any creator. I like to make my own decisions and my own assessments of things. And to be honest, that first year plus Hasan was covering the US election, I was just totally tuning in for that shit. And every single time you were brought up in chat, he would say, I'm not talking about that. Ethan is not the person you should be like going against. Absolutely, you need to reframe what you're thinking about and who you're fighting against and resisting. That was the take that he had. And I need you to understand that and appreciate that, because you refused to even acknowledge it. And that's reality. I was watching when that was happening. I don't know. Like, that's just been my personal experience. And the idea that I'm so thoughtless and mindless as someone that consumes Hasan's content, that I'm this flexible to just be completely persuaded out of nowhere on nothing, is egregious, because you don't want to see yourself. That's how you think everyone is. And I'm talking hundreds of thousands of people. Like, babe, we're not talking like one-on-one and there's a misunderstanding with some girl that you don't fucking know. There's millions of people. Your content is seeing far less views. Like, people are watching you and they're worried about you, and they're saying that you're on drugs, and they're saying that you're crashing out, and you're not calm. When I was a child, this is an anecdote. I think it's poignant. I struggled to keep friends when I was in elementary school, okay? Trauma. I remember I was in one friend group with these girls, and they were kind of bullies to me, and I would go home and tell my mom. I switched friend groups to another group, and then they were kind of bullies to me, and there was truth to it. But when I came home and I said the second group is doing this, my mom sat me down, and you know what she said to me? She said, Kara, we need to ask ourselves, like, are we doing something? And it wasn't victim blaming. It wasn't that. It was like, are we having self-reflection? Is there something that you're doing to make people have this response to you? I learned that when I was very young. And now, as I have gone into adulthood, oftentimes, God rest her soul, I think about that moment, and I think about reflecting on my output. And when you're a content creator, you have a community and you have an obligation. You have a moral obligation. And you also have a responsibility to own the space that you create and own the output. I am part of Hasan's community, I would say. And this is what it looks like. There's no hate for you. There's disappointment. I'm fucking disappointed in you. I'm disappointed in the content you create. I think it lacks innovation. It lacks excitement.
I think when he sees stuff like that, though, it just probably pisses him off even further. I'm not gonna lie, because he's like, oh, like in his perspective. By the way, she's a fucking incredible speaker. Going on for 9 minutes and 35 seconds out of nowhere is crazy. But I think when he sees this, he's like, oh, Hasan brainwashed you into hating me. Like, that's what he thinks. When it's like, these are people who, some of the people that didn't even like me initially were literally pushed towards understanding what my position was as a consequence of the way that they did not agree with what Ethan was saying about Israel-Palestine, where they were like, this is weird. That's a weird thing that you just said about like Aaron Bushnell or something like that. You know what I mean? And it's like death by 1,000 cuts, where slowly but surely, I feel like a lot of the people in his community that were very progressive, all the girly pops especially, that came in for a progressive audience, that became like a very progressive audience that, you know, loved the drama, loved the goofs and gaffs, but they realized, like, this is not, you know, it doesn't seem like he's saying stuff that I agree with, you know?
Excitement, it lacks interest, it lacks attitude, it lacks education. I think that you're just completely triggered at all times, and that's the content that you're creating. And as someone
No, Hasan, this 33-year-old white woman is clearly a terrorist, an anti-Semitic terrorist.
who is consuming, not just for, you know, goofs and gaffs, is that what it is? Throwback. It's like fallen off a little bit. And it feels a little bit like the community that you have cultivated is a tiny army of Zionists. And I don't want to believe it, but that's what I'm fucking seeing. And it's like anything that you do, they struggle to criticize. They just are 100% for you. And the difference between these communities, if Hasan says something that I fucking fundamentally disagree with, I'm going to hold him accountable for that. And if he went so far as to do something that I did not appreciate on like a deep level, it is content that I would no longer consume, not even remotely. And like I said, I don't even consume all of it. just because it's not interesting. Like, I don't give a fuck about a video game. No offense, Hasan. Love that for you. But I just think when you're having these conversations with all of these creators and you're the common denominator, at what fucking point in time are you going to sit down and have any self-reflection in yourself, literally to say,
why am I getting cooked here? Why am I getting cooked here?
Is the reason why what I'm getting back is this hateful bullshit. Majority of the people who you're receiving this hate from, yeah, some of them are fucking internet losers, okay? Some of them are people who really used to idolize you and love the shit you put into the world and are so egregiously disappointed in what you're putting out now. And I just like, self-reflection is really so beautiful. I don't know if you're in therapy. I recommend it for you. I don't know if you're like mentally okay. It's okay to take a break. And I'm sorry to your fucking staff, bro. That shit's crazy.